I just sent something else to you too.
Absolutely. Yo, what's going on, Gainesville? It's your boy Jerk Jerkins right here on WBT 90.1 FM The Beat, man. Hip Hop Saturdays, 2 o'clock hour. Y'all know what to expect. I got the homie, man, Mr. Minister Shot Ray in the building. What's going on, big dog?
Not much.
Cool.
Ready to get to it?
Absolutely, man. And I'm actually gonna let you do the honors, man. We got a special guest in the building. You mind introducing?
Well, yeah, we got Mrs. Nelly Ray
Yes.
here. My wife, my beloved wife, man. Nice. We ready to get to some real talk today. About motherhood, man. One thing I wanted to say before we start, you know, I know for the whole February, man, I did a lot of shouting out dads.
Yes, sir.
But one thing I think I don't do enough, I don't shout out moms enough, man. There's some good moms out here, man.
Well,
some great mothers.
This is a fatherhood show.
Yeah.
I agree with you to the fullest, though.
Yeah.
I agree with you to the fullest. We definitely got to always give them their propers, man.
Yes, sir.
I'd imagine that you two have some interesting discussions at the crib, man, at the dinner table. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First, let's start from the beginning, man. How long y'all been married? Y'all a young couple, but y'all been together for some time.
Well,
right?
we've been 7 years married.
Wow, so that means y'all had known each other even longer.
10
than that.
years.
We've been about 10 years together.
That's a solid foundation right there, man.
Yeah.
So, all right, and y'all, like I said, y'all kind of young. Y'all look young, man. You know what I'm saying? So tell me, like, are there some things? I guess what's some of the biggest lessons y'all learned over those 7 years, man? If we can start there.
I think one of our biggest lessons, I'll just start with that, is taking our time.
Nice.
Because we are young, and I feel like when you're in your like early 20s, late 20s, heading to, you feel like you have to have it all together, like right then and there. Like before I hit my 30s, and you like rush into a lot of things, rushing to having kids, rushing to buying your first house, rushing just so much. And I feel like the biggest lesson we learned is like, relax, let's do it on our time.
Pace yourself.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, for the both of y'all, I want both y'all to answer this. Advice you would give Shot Ray 10 years ago, 7 years ago, you know what I mean? The how do you man? 30. So the 20-year-old Shot Ray, when you first get interested in Miss Chanel here, you first know you about to get married, all that. What's the advice you would give that young man right there?
The advice
I would for you too, Chanel.
The advice I would have gave a 20-year-old me,
yes, sir,
would have been get around other husbands.
Nice.
Like really learn the
mentorship,
role.
Man, is
be
big,
mentored,
man.
Be mentored. That would have been the biggest thing.
Man. I love that. What about you, Chanel?
I would say the same thing. To just prepare yourself. Like I feel like sometimes we get married and we haven't seen marriage. Neither one of us. We didn't see it.
Right.
But we jumped into it and we didn't know anything about it. So it's like I would say prepare yourself.
Let me ask you about that then. You know what I'm saying? Where'd that come from? How y'all both know? All right, this is what we got to do. Because I mean, I'm gonna keep it real, man. Like that's a big decision for people at such a young age. So how'd y'all know, man? I always like to ask married people that.
I say God.
Nice.
Because for about 3 years we was not doing it right.
Yeah. How'd you propose?
Man, I had the most lame proposal
You need to do it.
because it was such a rush. You know, it was like
it can't be lame,
man. It was lame, but my heart was in the right place.
Yeah, you did it though. Hey,
my heart was in the right place because we was in a long distance relationship.
Well, your wife just alluded to it. I mean, we didn't have no track record, brother. You ain't have no prototype there, man. So we ain't gonna pick on you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How'd it go though?
So, like I said, we were in a long distance relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
She used to come to town for the weekend.
Okay.
So, like I said, I had that little short window, and I'm like, man, I want to do it this weekend. I can't let her go back home without me doing it. Like, I had the ring, but I was like, man, how am I going to give her this ring, man? And shoot, man, I woke up one morning. I say, man, this it. This the day.
What's up,
I went to my car. I said, I'm going to put it right here on the passenger seat. And I'm like, but how am I going to... The ring in the box. But I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get out here to the car to see it. So I come up with this lame plan. I was like, man, there's something in the car. Or something like this, some weird junk, man. And she was like, it was early in the morning. Like, we just woke up. She got the stink breath and all, bro.
Yeah, that's romantic. Bro.
And I'm like, man, shoot. I come up with some plans. She was like, what you talking about? I'm like, man, just come to the car. Man, she come out there and she looked and she was like, what's this? And like, I just got on the knee.
Nice.
And she was like, wait, right now? Like,
success,
I'm like, yeah.
Man, success.
I'm
bro.
like,
I love that.
And she was like, yeah.
I love that, bro. Tell me your reaction, your response on this. What were you thinking? What's going on in your mind?
I didn't really know what to think. I mean, I was just waking up. Like, he got me up. Like, the car was on fire. Like, in my head, the car was on fire. Like,
that would tell that story the rest of y'all life, man.
And I just, like, opened the door and I was like, what is this? And then he was just on one knee all of a sudden. I was like, okay, really?
Cool, man. Cool. I mean, it's kind of one of the, exemplify romance here, man. Don't leave that in here, man. So today, Chanel, you're going to be here kind of shedding some light on motherhood and how that, on our very first show, we discussed co-parenting, and he actually taught me something there. We was talking about co-parenting, even if you're not together. You know what I'm saying? That's something that never even occurred to me. Mm-hmm. I want you to talk about a little bit, Miss Ray, about motherhood and why it's so important to the development of a child. And, it just, general response.
I just feel like it's so important because if the aspect is missing, you can tell. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the nourishment that mothers have, the strong love that they have, the sensitivity that they have, it's really needed to balance out the fatherhood portion of the strength, of the providing. So, even for single mothers, you can tell when a child has come from a single, just a mother, because it's like the mother has to then become the father, and the mother role is completely absent. If she's at work, she can't be as loving, as sensitive, as nourishing as she would want to if she didn't have to take on the role. So you can definitely tell. I think it's really important for the
I agree completely. Anything you want to add to that, Victor?
That's good. That's good.
I do think I agree with you totally. I think that just with it being an issue, as far as not just fatherlessness, but single parenting in our community, it is something that has been normalized, and because it's normalized, a lot of time we don't notice until we don't notice the things that we're missing. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier, like I grew up the same way. You know what I mean? If we don't see that example, it's hard for us to replicate that. You know what I mean? We kind of got to condition that, and we talk about that a lot too. Like we have to do double the work now.
Yeah.
We got to do the work. We got to play catch up. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree. Let's talk about motherhood as far as you both supporting each other in those roles. As far as so can y'all just take it from there?
I think it's really important to support my husband. For him, it's just about affirmation. The support is affirmation. I know people don't like to throw the submissive word out, but it's important. And I feel like that's a role of support. But not only for him, I feel like it's affirmation for him and showing, that I respect him and support him, but also a visual for the kids.
Nice.
It's like showing them, you have to support other people if you want a strong foundation. It's like we built this foundation, but if there's no support from both sides, it's gonna be lopsided. It's gonna fall. So it's very important to support each other.
What about you, Shaw?
I think in the same way. As a father and as a husband, I gotta be able to be there to support my wife, especially with both of us working outside the home. Nice. Because that adds another dynamic when you have both parents working outside the house. And now it's not just, a lot of people think, okay, well, mom is going to clean this and do this and do this. But so my thing is, we got to be able to know what our roles are in the home so that I'm holding my weight just as much as she's holding hers. And if she needs help, then okay, we're communicating that and we can both now work together to meet the goal of the home. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what she has to do and what I have to do. The home has a goal, period. And as much if the goal is a circle, it's 100%. We gotta get to 100%. I can't be like, okay, well, I'm only gonna put in. You know, one person is putting in 40 and she putting in 40, and then we got a whole other 20 that's missing. Yeah. At some point, we got to make sure that whole is a whole. You know, if I got to put in 70, she put in 30, then it's cool. You know, as long as we get everything done.
Wow, I love it.
I feel like too with us, we've a lot of people say like the 50-50 rule, but I feel like with us, we've tried to get away from that. The percentage is 100, but I feel like both of us like we both got to give 100. So that we can overflow to help other people. So it's just like, you know, we get away from the 70-20, the 50-50. It's like, no, both give 100.
I love that, man.
So,
no. Let's kind of go into that a little bit. Because you said, that was real interesting about that. Because you guys are in the ministry. Mm-hmm. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, about being a minister's wife and the role that goes? Because the reason I just thought about that is because you said, throw out the 100 pie chart. We both got our own separate 100 pie charts, and we're going to bring them both so we can help other people. I thought that was brilliant. Can you talk about that a little bit, the dynamics of, because I know you both do work in the church as well as the community. Can you talk about the roles there and some things that, you know, that you've experienced?
With me, my husband is a pastor. He's an associate pastor of our church. So, of course, there's a role that I have to uphold to. But it's like, it's not me upholding to the role of pastor wife. It's more me upholding to God's word.
Absolutely.
So, when I just look at his word, we know that our home has to be extremely strong in order for us to help other people. Because it's like, once you start helping other people, their burdens can fall on you, and that can easily come into your home.
Wow. So
if we have a strong foundation, we already clear with that, and then we can go out and help people. At first, it was hard. We went through a few things, but now I feel like we have the goals set, and it's just like we take care of us. Once we're strong enough, we go out. So that's why I said we have to continue to go beyond the 100 because we have to overflow for other people because we're ministers of the gospel. So
okay, that's real. Quick question. This is a jerk question here. All right. The guy that's at the crib right now, him and his lady, they've been together forever. From an experience of a successful, looks like happy married couple of 7 years here. Tell that young man, this young couple, why they should be married. What's the benefits, advantages, why?
Well, I speak from a standpoint of a man. I always think it's important, especially when you have kids, and even that's for a man. That's honoring your woman. You know, and I get that a lot. A lot of guys say, "Well, I've been together with my lady for 15 years, and I'm basically like you," and I'm like, "No, not really," because I've made a real commitment to I've made a commitment to my woman that if I can't just walk out of my house on my lady. I can't just walk out when it's just my girlfriend. I can walk out at any time because what commitment is there? Like when you're married, man, we share. Man, I can't file my taxes without my wife. We're connected. You know, we're connected by all type of societal things. We're connected in God. I mean, that's the way, really, when I look at it, I made a vow to this woman, you know, that this is my wife forever. And that's, and I don't, and my thing is, I don't look at it from just, you know, societal standpoint. I look at it as, I made a commitment to God that I'm going to do this to this woman. So my commitment isn't so much to her. It is to her, but it's also to what I made to the Lord. Lord, this is the woman you've given me. So, and it only, you know, it only gives the woman, you know, that much. It shows, you know, your commitment when you can say, man, baby, you know what? I'm going to marry you. I'm going to put this ring on your finger and we're going to sign these papers. We're going to go before whoever we're going to go before, and I'm going to make this commitment. And it's just, there's a spiritual connection for one.
I love that.
But also, you're making a commitment in front of, you know, the marriage ceremony is for family, friends. You're doing this publicly, saying, I do.
I love that.
That ain't nothing like, oh, this is just my girlfriend.
Proclamation.
Yeah, it ain't nothing like that. So I would say that to the man.
No, I love that.
I would say to the to both of them. I feel like a lot of times people just kind of like take a long time to get married because they feel like, I don't know why they wait. Sometimes they are in the exact same situation that we're in, but they just haven't made it
official.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of times they're proving their love. They're like buying each other stuff and showing affection. But it's like, go past the proving your love and promise it. Like promise it forever.
Wow, I love that.
And it's just like, I feel like you got to think about it that way. Like, go past proving it and just make that promise that I'm gonna literally be here forever through thick and thin. Like you said, it's easy to walk out when you're just. We broke up a lot of times when we were just dating, but it's just like now that we're married,
for real.
divorce is like not an option.
Nice.
Like being apart is like not an option. Like we literally, you can be mad in the other room, but it's like not an option now.
I love that.
So we have to succeed.
That's giving them a solid foundation right there. I want to move on to. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I want to kind of go into it as far as the genders of the effects of having a household with children that are witnessing a marriage, a Christian marriage at that. Can you kind of talk about the importance of each gender for a little boy watching this and a little girl watching this? Can y'all just kind of talk about that and how that's important for your daughters to see a married couple and vice versa?
I feel like it's important for my daughters to see the roles. Like when I didn't grow up with a father at all, and I just saw the role of my mother, but she was like playing as a father pretty much.
Right.
And so I feel like it was important for them to see him loving me loving him being strong, me being submissive. Like, it's just so important for my daughters, even for my girl. I mean our son also.
Do you want to go into that?
Yeah, and I agree with everything she said, because it's important for my son, for him to see me in my role and how does a man conduct himself with a woman. Like, how do I treat a woman? How am I supposed to treat a woman? And that was something that like I say, we talked about this many times before, I've never seen that. You know, I was like, so when I got married, I really didn't know how to treat a woman. I'm like, I don't really even know how to talk to her, you know. And I had to learn that, like literally had to learn on the go, and made a lot of mistakes. So for my son watching me, I don't want him to have to be guessing, doing guesswork. You know, like
I love that.
I want to be there to actually teach him and show him the way, not just by my word, but by my action, so that he won't have to go through what I went through when he get married. He'll have a picture to look at.
And I feel like even in the longevity of being in a relationship and them seeing, like, even when they see us disagree, they see us argue. I know in the past I've made it a point, even though we're arguing and disagreeing in front of them, we need to go back and also in front of them make it better, so they can see
reconciliation.
Yeah,
I love that. And I think I could be wrong, but I think that it's cool for them to see you guys argue too, because they see later, you know what I mean? That just it
ain't all peaches and cream all the time.
Yeah. And it shows that by you guys staying together. I mean, and I love what you said earlier. The way you said it, the way you put it was like divorce is not an option. You know what I mean? Yeah. And by them seeing that, I mean, they see that. You know, I just love that example. I mean, again, we talk about a lot. You know what I mean? We when we become adults, we kind of see and become fathers and those things. We see the things that we were missing. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing to see. See those things coming to fruition. I want to talk a lot about the ministry and God, in fact, and I want you guys to talk about a Christian marriage. I want you guys to talk about that versus just a regular marriage, and talk about the advantages and benefits of having God, and it's just as important in your marriage.
I feel like I'll just go first. I feel like with being a Christian and being married, I feel like there's a standard that we live up to, and although sometimes for us, maybe it'll be hard because like we feel like we got to put on this show for everybody, but we don't put on a show. Like we done with that. Like if I'm mad at him, people will know, and then when I'm over it, they'll know. But I just feel like it's really important that we have that standard because it pushes us to be better every single day. Just because it's a marriage that is of God, and it's like everybody knows the standards that God stands for: love, patience, honoring each other. So it's just a push. Like being a Christian and being married is like it's a push to do better.
Mm-hmm. Like that, you good? You want to add something? Or you good there?
I think it's important to just knowing the example that God has set for us, and that makes everything. So it cuts out a lot of confusion because we can always go back to His word. Because at the end of the day, like the word says, let every man be a lie, and let only Him be the truth. Nice. So at the end of the day, when we go through whatever, man, what does the word say?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then whatever the word says, that's what we're going to stick to. We don't have to do any guesswork. What does the word say? That's concrete, and that's what we're going to follow. Okay. So we have a blueprint for our marriage, and we can always go back to the blueprint. It never changes. It's like we
definitely stray away from the blueprint.
We stray away all the time from it.
And then we come back like, okay.
That's real.
Right.
That's real.
I think it's good to have that reference.
Yeah. So in a reference that doesn't change. It's a guy.
I love that, man. I love that. Well, look, we're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back, man, with just a few more questions, man. We could keep going, but I don't want to give it all away right now. Yeah, keep it locked right here, WBT 90.1 from the beat. I got Mr. Minister Shaw Ray in the building, man, with his lovely wife, Miss Chanel Ray, man. Don't go nowhere, y'all. Keep it locked right here on Dad Can We Talk.
Cool. She said turn the volume up.
We played just a few commercials. About that song or two. This is something I could have... I should have prepared more questions for y'all, actually, because this is something I could do this all day with y'all. You know what I mean? But it's all good. The questions you got are good. I think I did most of them except the last one.
Okay.
Which is the one about fatherlessness. I don't know if we talked about that though, did we? We didn't really go into that.
No, let me see.
What
you talking about
the very last question?
Yeah.
Topic.
Yeah, we ain't going to that. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you know the one you was talking about.
Let me turn this off.